I have a brand new update to share about the $1,400 stimulus check that could soon be arriving for SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and low-income individuals. And yes, this time I have a much more specific timeline that we can look at to figure out when these payments may actually land in your bank account or your mailbox. A lot of people are asking, is this really going to happen? When will we know for sure? And when would the money actually arrive? That's exactly what we're going to break down in today's video. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks so much for being here again. If you're new to the channel or if you haven't yet subscribed, please take a second to hit the subscribe button right below the video. We've built an amazing community here with hundreds of thousands of people, seniors, Social Security beneficiaries, low-income households who are all staying updated and supporting one another. And the best part? Subscribing is completely free. So, go ahead and join the family so you never miss these important updates. Before I get into the actual timeline, let me first be completely clear about where things stand today. As of right now, the fourth stimulus check, this potential $1,400 payment, is not officially written into the current legislation. It's not part of the framework, at least not yet. But if you've been following this process over the last couple of years, you already know that this is normal. Remember the second stimulus check, the $600 payment? That check wasn't even included in the package until literally days before the bill was signed into law. Lawmakers were still debating it right up until the finish line, and then it was added at the last minute. The same thing could very easily happen again with this fourth check. So the fact that it's not listed in the earliest drafts doesn't mean it's gone. It just means the negotiations haven't gotten to that part yet. This is also why I'm not worried at all that the check isn't already included. The negotiations on the American Families Plan are only just beginning. That's the package where most analysts expect a stimulus check or possibly even recurring payments could be added. When lawmakers start trading ideas back and forth, that's usually when these payments appear. So the possibility of a new $1,400 stimulus check is very much alive. But let's get to the question that really matters. When could this check arrive if it is approved? For that, we don't have to guess. We can look back at history. The government has now sent out 3 different rounds of stimulus checks, and each one gives us a clear idea of how fast the process moves. Once we know the historical pattern, we can apply it to the 2 main legislative windows happening this year. Let's start with the first check. The original $200 stimulus check was signed into law on March 27, 2020. Payments began going out on April 15th, about 2.5 weeks later. Not bad, especially for the very first time the government ever did anything like this on such a large scale. The second stimulus check was much faster. That was the $600 payment passed on December 27, 2020, and by December 29th, just 2 days later, money had already started showing up in people's accounts. The major wave of deposits hit on January 4th, which means it took just about 1 week from the signing of the bill. The third stimulus check was the $1,400 payment signed on March 11, 2021. The first big wave of payments went out on March 17th, just 6 days later. That was record speed. However, many of you will remember the frustration here, because Social Security, SSI, and SSDI beneficiaries saw delays. That wasn't because of the IRS, but because the Social Security Administration didn't transfer payment information on time. As a result, many beneficiaries didn't see their money until April 7th. So what can we learn from this? The first check took about 2.5 weeks, the second check took 1 week, and the third check took just under 1 week. In other words, the government has gotten faster each time. But Social Security and SSI beneficiaries have sometimes faced extra delays of 2 to 3 weeks. Now, let's look ahead to the new timeline. Right now, there are 2 key windows of time when this fourth stimulus check could realistically be passed into law. The first window is between October 9th. This is the period when Congress is in session before they leave for their long winter recess. If the package is completed in that window, we could see the check signed into law by early November. The second window is starting in the second week of November, from then until the end of November. Lawmakers will again be under pressure to finalize the package. So let's say Congress passes the package in the first week of October. What would that mean for the arrival of checks? Based on history, the IRS would likely begin sending out the first wave of payments within 1 week. That means direct deposits could start arriving by about October 14th to 20th. Paper checks and prepaid debit cards would follow, usually within another 1 to 2 weeks. And if there's a delay for Social Security and SSI beneficiaries, those payments could come in the last week of October or the first week of November. Now, what if it doesn't pass until October? In that case, the first wave of direct deposits could be arriving in late October, with paper checks following in early November. For SSI, SSDI, and Social Security recipients, that might mean payments arrive in early to mid-November if there's a delay. So the bottom line is this. Depending on which window the package is finalized in, you could be looking at mid to late August or late October to early November for the money to start arriving. The good news is that the government has already done this 3 times. The IRS, the Treasury, and the Social Security Administration already have the systems and processes in place. This isn't new to them anymore. That means the payments could actually go out faster than before. Instead of waiting almost a month like in 2021, Social Security and SSI beneficiaries might only face a delay of a week or 2 at most. The learning curve is behind us now. The agencies know what to do, and that should speed things up. So who would actually qualify for this potential $1,400 check? Based on past stimulus payments, the eligibility groups would almost certainly include SSI beneficiaries, SSDI beneficiaries, Social Security retirees, veterans and VA beneficiaries, railroad retirees, and low-income individuals and families under the income thresholds. In other words, the same groups who qualified before. There's another factor here too, and that's the political pressure lawmakers are under. Inflation has made life more expensive for everyone, but it's hitting seniors and low-income Americans the hardest. Groceries, gas, rent, and medical costs continue to rise. Many households are struggling to cover even the basics. Lawmakers know this. People will remember whether Congress delivered relief or not. That makes the addition of a $1,400 stimulus check a very real possibility, even if it hasn't been written into the framework yet. So here's the recap. Right now, a 4th stimulus check is not officially in the package, but history shows it could still be added at the last minute. There are 2 key windows, mid-October through early November or mid to late November. If it passes in October, direct deposits could begin mid to late November, with paper checks and Social Security beneficiaries receiving theirs by early November. Payday. Americans to get another round of 702 payments as entire October schedule revealed. Alaska's Department of Revenue will issue 2 disbursements, with the first beginning on October 2nd. Those eligible to receive payments on October 2nd are ones who filed online and selected direct deposit for their payment. Recipients who filed by paper or chose to receive payment in a paper check will have payments issued on October 23rd. Applications who have the eligible not paid status on November 12th will have payments distributed roughly a week later on November 20th. In order to be eligible for the Alaska PFD, you must be a resident of the state for a minimum of 1 calendar year. A resident eligibility is defined as someone who is physically present in the state with the intent to remain in the state indefinitely and to make a home in the state. It is also required that you did not claim residency in another state or country since December 31, 2023. Eligibility further requires an individual to be present in Alaska for a minimum of 72 consecutive hours at any point during 2023 or 2024. You also cannot be out of the state for over 180 days. The highest payment made to individuals came in 2022 with $3,284. This year's payment consists of an energy relief bonus of $208,117. The remaining $1,403.83 comes from the base benefit. Applications for participation open January 1st and continue through March 31st. Any applications filed after March 31st will be rejected. Follow the rules. Applications are open for children and adults. An eligible sponsor must have an application on file prior to the issuing of the dividend for the child to be eligible. The dividend does have eligibility exceptions. If you were sentenced or incarcerated due to a felony conviction during the qualifying year, you are ineligible to apply. The ineligibility also extends to those incarcerated at any time during 2024 as the result of a misdemeanor conviction in Alaska if convicted of a prior felony or 2 or more prior misdemeanors since January 1, 1997. And unlike before, delays may be shorter because the system is already in place. I'll continue tracking this every single day. As soon as there's official confirmation or new developments, I'll bring you the updates right away. Applicants are able to check the status of their application through the state's MyPFD website. An application may require review to look more closely at an individual's activities and residency during a qualifying year. Of the 666,213 applications received for the 2024 dividend, only 624,489 have been paid. The permanent fund was added to the Alaska Constitution in 1976, with its first legislation enacted in 1980, providing adult Alaska residents $50 fee
for every year of residency in the state since 1959. The program has gone through several changes over the years, including adjustments to residency qualifications. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button so YouTube shares it with more people who need the information. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of the upcoming updates. Stay safe, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next update.